what's a fiduciary? And maybe 2, 3, 4 times a year, I have a new client come in, and they always have one of those steno books. Is they always have a ring binder or something like that. It's always pen and paper people, and almost their first question when we sit down is, "Are you a fiduciary?" And I know why they're asking that is because they have no idea what it means. Because you could spend 5 minutes on my website, maybe 3 minutes on my website. I could spend about 10 seconds on a website for my industry and tell you if somebody's a fiduciary or not. So nobody really knows what it means. They just know that they read somewhere recently that it's very important that you work with a fiduciary. And I think that can be a good idea. It's just a bad box to just check blindly. So let's talk about what that means. It means it's someone who has to do what's best for you before what's best for them. So for instance, your doctor is a type of fiduciary. Is they have to do best for you. They can't just prescribe surgery because it's going to make them more money. That's illegal. They can go to jail for that. Your attorney is a fiduciary. They have to act in your best interest. They can't just do things willy-nilly for their own benefits just to pad their own salaries. That's illegal. They can get in trouble for that. Similarly, in the financial services world, a fiduciary is someone that has to act in your best interest for your financial needs first. And people go, well, who wouldn't do that? Oh, there's a whole litany of people in a multitude of industries, but definitely in our industry that are not fiduciaries. They're not beholden to that standard. This is something that's been growing over the last couple of years, and you have a whole set of people who aren't. So I'll give you a good for instance, and I don't want to pick on them, but we're going to pick on them is insurance people. There are some very good insurance people out there, but let me tell you what I remember is years ago, I used to get all the financial press. I used to read all the financial press. I don't read any of it anymore. They stopped sending it to me because I don't read it. And here's why I stopped reading it is you would flip through these magazines, and these were magazines called like Financial Advisors. So they were for semi-fiduciary type people, or at least seemingly. And there would be a full page ad for some company's annuity. You'd think that the largest typeset in the ad would be the name of the company. Nope. The rate of return they're going to give you client. Nope. That was probably number 2 though. The ratings of the company, that would definitely be on the page, but it wouldn't be the biggest font size. Any surrender charges or surrender periods, that would be on there, and it would be in ridiculously small print. It's kind of like the drug commercials where they talk about all the side effects and this and that. Very similar. So what was the biggest thing shown? The commission is we'll pay you 5%, 6%, 8%, 11% was the highest I remember seeing. 11%. If you were selling annuities, making 11%. So for every $100,000, you made $11,000. You could probably work part-time 3 or 4 mornings a week. Literally, if you were decent at selling and you didn't care about people at all and had a decent list that you were buying of people in the area that were interested in annuities, and there are lists out there. If you're getting calls like that, you're on a list. You can probably make $150,000, $200,000 a year without breaking a sweat. Is that person a fiduciary? No, they are not. They're more concerned with their 11% commission than they are with you. Now, does that mean a commissioned person cannot be a fiduciary? Not necessarily. It's about disclosure. The biggest thing is about disclosure. I was a fiduciary back 30 years ago when I still did insurance and received commissions for that. I was still a fiduciary on that. I had to disclose what I was making and things of that nature. So you can do that. It's one of those things if you want to make sure that somebody's a fiduciary means they have to act in your best interest first. Does that mean they're honest? No, it does not mean they're honest. You think that it would. Wait a second, isn't it against the law and against your code of ethics and you're going to get all sorts of trouble? Oh, sure. 2 words for you. Bernie Madoff. Bernie Madoff was a fiduciary. He stole hundreds of millions of dollars from his clients. I worked with a gentleman years ago, 35 years ago, that was embezzling money from his clients. He was a fiduciary. He went to jail. It doesn't mean they're honest any more than, murder's illegal. People still murder. You can't just assume somebody is honest just because they're a fiduciary. And lastly is competence. There's no test really for fiduciary. There is a test, but it's more on industry and how things work. It's not a competence test by any stretch, the bar to become a fiduciary in the financial services realm is actually fairly low. So being a fiduciary does not mean they're competent. They could have been a fiduciary for 2 weeks. You want to make sure of that. Is it a good idea to check this box to make sure somebody's a fiduciary? It helps, but it doesn't absolve you from the rest of the homework you have to do to make sure you're working with somebody that is competent, that is honest, and that you can work with. So that's what I have for you today. If you get questions, jump down the doobly-doo, reach out to us. We'll see what we can help. But I'll see you next time. Stay safe out there.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. Remember, the views expressed are not necessarily those of Successful Money Strategies. All content is for educational purposes only and should not be construed as an endorsement of any third party or their views, or as a solicitation or offer to sell securities or provide investment, tax, legal, or consulting services. We believe the information presented to be reliable, but it is not guaranteed for accuracy or completeness. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Hypothetical returns do not reflect actual trading and may not be indicative of the performance of any specific investment. Always consult with a qualified financial advisor before making any investment decisions. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Additional information, including management fees and expenses, is provided on our Form ADV Part 2, available upon request, or at the SEC's Investment Advisor Public Disclosure website, https://advisorinfo.sec.gov.